Hi, guys. I don't know if y'all are actually here or not, but we'll give everyone else a few minutes to hop on.
I know. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yay. I usually give myself at least the day before the new moon and the day after. As long as it happens in that period, I'm typically good with it. Because depending like what time it actually is, the new moon, like not doing something at like 8 a.m.
There were a few things that I didn't do yesterday, but today I'm like, oh, I could still do that. And I set up my altar on my fame wall that Kelly helped me figure out what wall was what. And I actually did that after like 3 months of being like, yeah, I'll get to that. So
yay.
It's happening. And I have my business exec pajamas on today. I like pretend it's my power suit. So
I mean, it's very fancy. My pajamas are not this fancy. No.
Oh, ADD. I was like, who wrote this note and put it here? But it's me.
So we'll give everyone a few more minutes and then we'll see. I think everyone who is on now actually got support last time, so we could just do like mini questions and not shifts and wins, and we'll give it a little. Oh, Shelby, did you not? Okay, well, Shelby will go first.
Yay! Yeah, I left. It was really long and I was tired and I needed.
I think that is fair. I think no more 4-hour calls for all of us. Oh. Okay, wait a minute, and then we'll have you do the whole spiel.
Yeah, no worries.
Let me find my pink pen.
I'm sort of adjusting the I want feedback on that anyway, so.
Well, let's write you in this column. Shelby. I keep being really confused what month and like what part of the month it is, and I'm not sure what the problem is with that, but I just can't. Time. Also, dogs are barking. Sorry, guys. They're excited.
I can't hear him over the like bird who is like literally outside. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's just like going to town. Like
oh, that's fantastic.
It's very nice. It's a nice, lovely, like little songbird chirping. So it's not like annoying, but it is like, where are you? Like he's just like
hovering outside your wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, and there's an overhang there. So I'm like, where are you? Like, but he must just be like right on the edge of the roof or something.
Maybe there's like a piece of the overhang that he can like hide out underneath.
Maybe. I don't know. He's just
build
like,
a nest.
I don't know. He's doing his thing. They like to, there's like little holes and they look like little vent holes in the sides of the building. And they like to make nests in there, which is really cute. And you can see them like pop out and they'll like hang out and they're like super cute. Like they are super cute. But like this one is like not near one of those holes. Like he's literally like right outside this window somewhere.
Maybe he has a message for you.
Maybe. He's been out there like, I think he was out there yesterday too. Like his thing. So I'm like, all right.
I have a cardinal friend who likes to stare at the window at me or through the window at me. And he comes like every day and just like stares at me. We have our moment and he's done. Oh, he likely won't come now because the dogs are out there barking. I think Matt and Soren are climbing a tree. I suggested they go outside and there was something about climbing a tree and I was like, this is not what I had in mind. Like taking my 4-year-old up a tree is not what I had in mind when I said go outside before it storms.
You know.
But okay. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, Shelby, let's go. You know your questions.
Okay. I'm writing them into the chat.
Okay, thank you. We love you being a projector and guiding us all.
I did the quick one.
Okay. Wins.
I have sold 2 bee-centered guides so far.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that came from Ardelia's email.
Yay!
So that's great. And that's like also being like featured on her podcast and things like that. So yay. What else? So I figured out, so this is what's been going on. Thank you, Kelsey. The singing bowls, I've been trying to like record them, and they always, for some reason to me, sound buzzier in the recording than they do like when I play them. So they sound buzzier on like a playback. And so I reached out to a mutual friend of Kyle and I's, and he directed me to Audacity, which is like an audio recording software. And so I did some playing around with that, because I was before in like tech forums, and I had like no idea what people were talking about for like microphones and like mixing sound and everything. So I went in there, and that didn't help. But he directed me to this, and like was like, here, you can address like this thing. There's like a little slider thing that like I can watch, like if it's in the red or things like that. Mine for some reason doesn't turn red, but like I know like I don't want it to go to like the end. And he's like, you can play with this volume thing, because like the louder they are, the buzzier they sound. And so he's like, you can play with this, and this will adjust like the volume at which they record at. So I've actually reduced some of the buzziness, but I've also, like, I did then go through and listen to like other people's recordings online, and that's just part of the singing bowls, is that they have like a sort of like a buzzy sound. It sounds buzzy to me, but like I'm sure that's not what it is.
Like a reverb, kind of?
Sort of. It's like I could play with the gain on the thing, and I can't tell you what that does, but I can tell you that's what the thing said. And if I can turn it down a little bit, it like removes some of the buzz. So they just might be like too far outside of the range in which like typical microphones can pick them up. I know there's like some really high quality like production microphones that it sounds like pick up the range pretty well, but I am not at a point in which I want to spend like $500 on a microphone. So I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, or if that's thing I will want to do. But I got it to the point where like I feel good about it, and so I will have some meditations kind of like coming out. Like I've got some old ones, so I'm pulling those in, and then I'm going to have a couple new ones accompanying them for people. So
Yay.
yeah, it was a win.
That's a big one. I feel like that's been like a few years in the coming.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing. Thank you, Pam. See the claps. Yeah, and it's something I'd love to get into a studio at some point, but right now that's just not possible with everything going on in the world. So yeah, so it is what it is, and this is like in the acoustics of my home too, versus like somewhere really nice acoustics. So so that's what I've got. Shifts have been I think I'm more in a flow. So I feel like even though I would say I do work a lot, I do play a lot of Animal Crossing too. So I feel like
Oh, I know.
yeah, you're always on, Shelby.
I'm like, I have one friend on. It's either this person or Shelby. It's Shelby. I don't know. Little brother's not nearly as much as you are.
Yeah, understandable. I even created a secret Pinterest board, which I will make not secret so people can use it and get the things. But it has like all of the like different patterns that you can download, and like different like cool ideas for how to do your town. And I've been watching videos on YouTube. So people do island tours. So they go to other people's islands and do tours. And so like I've been getting a lot of ideas for mine. And so yeah, so that's been really exciting. Thank you, Pam. It's been a lot of fun. So like I've had a lot of like good flow, I think, in that way. So yeah, so I think that's a shift. And for what I would like support on, I'm going to share my screen. If everybody's cool with that. Okay. Okay. So I'm picking out the like kind of covers for the meditations, and I sort of have two ways that I'm leaning here.
Okay.
So here's the first one. Everybody see that? Okay. So it's very green and it has some gold to it. There's not a whole lot of white or pink because it's called Rejuvenate. So we're heading into more green, so it's more like relaxing and nourishing. So I have this one. And then I have this second one, which is a little bit more in the style of some of the other banners and things I have. There are obviously some things I don't like about this, like the font in the middle here would probably, the sizes will probably be adjusted a little bit so that it's like more dynamic, but that's kind of like the other option. It's like a lot more white, a focus on the green with some gold in there. And so I just wanted to get thoughts on like, too bad Kelly's not here. But I just wanted to get thoughts on like what everybody kind of was thinking. So I wonder if there's a way that I can show them both at the same time. Make it a little, can you adjust that? Okay. I mean, I guess you can kind of see them both at the same time here. So thoughts?
Okay, there's a bunch in the comments, and then I'm gonna give mine last because I don't want to say anything.
That's right. Okay.
I guess I could read the comments too. That's probably
Thank you,
easier.
Kelsey. Kathy likes one a lot better. Two seems too busy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does like have that sort of disconnected feel to it. Pam says the first one feels more bougie. Thanks, yeah. I took it as a compliment, Deborah. Deborah also likes the first one. Kelsey's taking the white because it makes everything pop. It does. And that's kind of why I like it. Like, it gives more contrast, I feel like. But I think I agree with Kathy that it seems more disconnected than the other one. So, do a white panel. Yeah, let's go into that one. If I did this color white, I think it's like too much of a contrast rather than like a lighter green. And that's not quite the right color green. Ooh. So, or I guess I could just hit undo and that was what it's back. So, where's the?
So I like the first.
Okay.
I do think the white does match what you have more, but I would not be opposed to more of your stuff looking more like the first.
Yeah.
Invitation.
Thank you. Projectors appreciate invitations.
It's more streamlined and it feels more projectory. So it has more of like a calm, grounded feeling to it rather than, I don't have a better word than like, the other one feels very woo, which is fun because what you do is woo, but woo needs to be anchored in so that people can feel safe going into it if it's something that they are not familiar with. And the first one being bougie, as Pam would say, makes you feel really safe to enter because it's like, well, she's obviously got her shit together. Like, she knows what this is. Like, of course I want to come up to this. I think potentially, well, maybe not. I don't know. Potentially Rejuvenate could be like bigger or something so that you can tell what that is. Yes, Lux. That's a good word for it. But yeah, this just has it has a more elevated energy. And I like the elevated energy just to attract a different type of audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I can play with some of the sizing. I wanted because this is not the cover for the full Rejuvenate. This is the cover for each individual meditation. And I wanted something streamlined. So that's why Rejuvenate is smaller and you see like the actual meditation title in the middle. And then I'll get into the banner for it overall. But I just wanted, since I'm I have the tracks and I'm editing the tracks first, I wanted to have the image to go with the.
I mean, I think the banner could match this.
I think so too.
I don't see why it has to be any different. Yes, Deborah says she feels like she's entering a spiritual spa, and I feel those vibes, and I like them. I appreciate that for this. I also, invitation, I feel like this goes well with the Impact. I can't remember the name, but the Impact Mastermind.
The Impact Inner Circle.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, so I guess I'll give everybody details. So overall, my big structure is kind of, the air kicked on. Is that too loud for anybody? Okay. It's nourish and reprogram. So there's nourish, reprogram, thrive. And so through nourishing yourself and reprogramming leads to thriving. And then the secret thing that comes in there is also impact. But that's not for entry level people. So I want to the idea is to get yourself settled first, and then you can work on creating more impact from there. So in part of that, we have Be Centered, which is a 6-day guide. And that was part of my wins that I've sold too. And it's automated, it's easy for people to do. It's just a quick in and out kind of thing. And then inside of that, we do go over meditation. And so I wanted to have this series, this collection ready for people inside of that. And then there's Emerge, which is the deeper dive into the same tools. And so I wanted to have meditation ready for that. That doesn't begin until May 11th. Technically we're in launch and people can join. But we don't start the actual program until the 11th. So from there, we then have the Impact Inner Circle, which is a 6-person mastermind around creating impact, and it's very co-creative. So I can totally see this being something that they receive to continue nourishing themselves. They are getting Emerge as part of it, just to make sure that they have a good foundation and that we all have the same concepts when we're talking. But and especially with things in the world, it gives you something to return to. But these are people who typically have a stronger foundation, who are pretty solid, is what energetically they feel very solid and grounded. And so they are looking to create impact and assist people and, for lack of a better word, help in whatever way they can inside of what's going on. And so we're looking at impact inside their business and outside of their offers. So how can we all, around different topics that we choose and that we talk about, how can we create impact in our communities and beyond our communities around those topics and areas? So it's very co-creative in that there's not a prescribed thing that we're going through. It's we're all coming together, we're discussing what's important to us, and working on those things and creating waves and supporting each other through that process. So like there's gonna be times where we're like, I don't feel like I can do this, or like I feel like this isn't working, or things like that. And so like it's that very supportive atmosphere of like, okay, I mean, you probably are, but like let's all sit down together and work through this because we're all probably feeling that.
Something interesting I was thinking while you were talking, or that like hit me as you were talking rather, depending on how you're setting up your flows, you could keep the white for the clients who are going to remain more groundwork and keep that kind of style for flows that are flowing them into that, and then use this top style flow for products that are going to flow them into the impact inner circle, so that there is kind of like a bottom line energetic of like you're going to be drawn just by that to where your energy already is. If your energy is a little more flighty and you need to, you know, go through a little bit more healing before you can ground, you go over here. And if you're already pretty grounded, you go over here. And that could be something to play with. I've actually never played with different style graphics for different tiers. And now I'm like, this is genius. Why wouldn't we have done this?
Yeah, like there is here. Since we're already here in Canva, you guys get to see all the things anyway. So here, where is it? Is it in here? So here's the impact inner circle graphic at the moment. There is a merge. Here's the reframe worksheet, which has pre-centered in it. So there's kind of already some differentiation going on.
Mm-hmm.
So the be centered already has a lot more white in it.
But be centered is supposed to, well, I guess it flows them up to emerge. So as long as emerge is kind of like a mix between the two, then it would cover both.
And here's, I was playing with different things. So here's emerge.
So emerge may need to be a little more streamlined.
Yeah. And then here's the impact inner circle.
So I think it's naturally doing this anyway. It's just the merge needs to be shifted a little to fit it being that like middle ground between like, okay, you've done some work.
Yeah.
You're elevated some, but you're still not at this level where this might be scary for you.
Yeah. And that's something to chat. Okay. Rejuvenate might move into the diamond for the cover. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Person said agreed, makes so much sense. The impact inner circle imaging is magical. Thank you, Kelsey. Yeah, I don't have this, so this obviously isn't me. I didn't feel like I had a great picture of me to like what I wanted, but also, yeah, so my goal was to take pictures at the beach next month, get professional photos done while I was on vacation. That's not really happening. So the next best thing was to find an image.
So there are some photographers who are doing virtual sessions. I don't entirely know what that means, but one of my friends is doing it, and she's been doing it for entrepreneurs as well as like maternity stuff. And I suspect it's probably you have to have good lighting, and she poses you and then they take screenshots, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that could be something to investigate or just have somebody else do it, because it's not like you need a photographer to take screenshots of you.
No. And like the other thing is like I wanted like,
yeah,
I have a lot of the same backgrounds. I wanted different backgrounds for photos.
But you could still play with that. I mean, go to a different room of the house or adjust some things.
We literally have like 2 rooms.
Well, Yes.
Sure, we live in a
Like, the
one-bedroom
office,
apartment.
there's the bedroom, there's the living
Yeah,
room.
the bedroom is a chaotic mess. The office is really the only thing that's organized, and this corner is like halfway done.
Take pictures of the office later. Maybe we can give you thoughts of how to
Okay.
make it look, how to use it differently and make it look different for different shoots.
Okay. And yes, it is. Well, Kathy loves the green gold. Thank you, Kathy. Definitely moving in that direction. That's been a thing. Like all the Pinterest things that I have pinned to like my little bathroom house inspiration board has been like green and gold. And yes, Kelsey, it is Metatron's cube in the background because there's 6 people and there's 6 points with like 6 circles. So it's a whole thing, like a whole downloaded thing. And you've seen some virtual photo shoots. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I just wanted beach photos and like plant photos and things like that. Like I wanted this, like, it was a whole vibe that isn't happening at the moment. It happened later this year. Like my grandparents usually go down like September, October. So
Is it sunny there now? Like where you live?
really,
I mean, like not today, but like
kind of. In general, yeah. We're getting into tornado season, so like storms are hit or miss.
Okay. Could you like make Kyle be a manifester and give him some no. Because I'm like, can he help you like set up a photo shoot like by the pool and like bring down some plants and can you like walk up garden at the apartment center?
I have many times tried to have him take photos for me.
No. He doesn't take the photos. You do that with your little stick. Your little Bluetooth stick.
Yeah.
He's there to help set up things and to like.
He could maybe be the roadie. Yeah. But he just. I don't. Does Matt do the same thing? Like half of them are silly photos. A quarter of those are like my butt. And like the other half, they just like, they aren't steady. They aren't like centered or like in the like thirds. They are like, I'll be like slouching and he'll take a picture. He won't like be like, hey, why don't you like sit up or something. He just like lets me.
So again, with manifestors, you have to give them very specific directions. Matt does fantastic with specific directions. Like my Facebook picture is one that he took because Neha and I forgot to take pictures when she was here. And the last day we were like, oh, let's take some pictures. Here you go, Matt. But you have to be like, turn the portrait mode on. Make sure we're in the middle. Make sure we look cute.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help. I try. Kathy has a tripod for her iPhone and camera. Yeah, so I have a stick that becomes a tripod, and so I've used that. I also maybe kind of broke it, so I have to buy a new one. But I'm looking at buying like a new one with like a giant ring light too on it. So I think that would be a nice upgrade. It's just one of the number of things that.
Don't you have a ring light that travels?
Yeah, it's okay.
So depending on, you just have to be set up right.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm trying to think because like my ring light is not set up right, and I know this, but I also can't stick it like right behind my computer.
it clips onto the computer here.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't do well with the phone because it's like so bright around the thing, so it gives you that like instead of like the black frame coming in, it gives you a white one. So but it's just I mean, it's not a big deal. It is what it is. I have time. My birthday's coming up, so there's a number of things that
I'll investigate because I'm likely gonna have to go down this route for taking maternity pictures. So
okay.
I'm already planning my own investigation, and I can share. Because I had thought about, I've seen somebody with a ring light for the phone like Kathy's talking about, and I'd thought about that, and I was gonna get like the tripod Bluetooth thing.
Yeah.
The pictures of, and
yeah, I have that. I like that a lot. I like having the little like Bluetooth clicker. Yeah, so I know there's a ton of options, and like I've looked at all of them. I'm also possibly upgrading my phone, so I don't want to like my birthday present to myself is a phone upgrade. So I'm not buying plane tickets. I'm gonna buy an upgrade for my phone.
That is fair. And so that could wait until that happens and you can see what you need then.
Yeah, that's in like.
Regardless, I think this looks fine. I don't think it has to be you. It has that same feeling.
I think this is great for now. Like it's not even like a, I don't want to say it's even like a placeholder. Like I think it looks really well and I really like it, but I can always change it later. So I can probably stop sharing. I always forget that I'm sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like, yeah, it's all good. I'm not worried too much about it. I just needed help deciding which one people like better.
Well, we have informed you what we like.
We
want bougie Shelby.
Apparently. We want luxe, we want spa, which it totally makes sense. We just had a Taurus new moon and we're in Taurus in a sun sign. So like
also like rejuvenation should feel like a spa.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Do you feel complete?
Yes. Yeah, I feel complete.
Okay. Kathy, would you like to go next since you weren't here last time? Wait, you're muted.
Hang on, I'm going to shut the door.
Okay. What color is Kathy?
I have put a sign on the door that says "in session" because that way I know. Everyone knows, except the cat because she can't read. Everyone knows that, you know, I was telling someone yesterday that if I wrote a book right now, it would probably be called "You're My Husband and I Love You, but Please Go Away."
I think a lot of people could write that book right now. Oh. In my house, we have the agreement of sometimes Kristen just needs 30 minutes to herself or no one's talking to her and nobody's touching her. And this is just the rule of what happens.
I have laid down the rule that he gets up before I do. And it's like, just because you hear me in the kitchen doesn't mean that I want to see you, talk to you, kiss you, touch you. I need space for like half an hour. Yeah. Anyway, so what are our questions again?
Okay. What are your, Shelby, did you have something to say? Are you just raising your hand? Oh, I think she's copying and pasting them, but I can tell them. Yes. What are your wins of the last month? What has shifted in either direction? Where would you like support?
Well, honestly, I'm not sure I had any wins this last month. I almost didn't come because, and then I started feeling happy because there would be people here. Now it's been like a lost month. I've been sleeping a lot, and maybe I should count that as a win that I was like honoring my body and the fact that it needed rest. But, you know, it's like I would get up at, hang on, cats want in. I would get up at like 10, you know, 10, it's somewhere between 10 and 11 a lot of mornings because now they don't want in because I wouldn't sleep well. And at that point, like by the time I get going and do my morning things, I feel like, well, hell, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I mean, I just have had trouble getting started. And I was realizing yesterday and today that I feel like, and maybe this is a shift, I at least realize, oh, wait, here's a win. I finally got my office closet in my office. They're not organized exactly the way I want them, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. And I feel like I can actually be in here and breathe and it's not like crowded and nasty.
Yay.
So I guess, yeah, that is huge. That is huge. And I cleared a space in the closet. I need to tweak it. I have my office is in what was the master suite in the house before they renoed. And so I have this huge walk-in closet that I've always meant to turn into a meditation room, except that will mean shifting other stuff into storage and, but I have a spot now where I could like make a little altar to do magic for clients and to get clients and just to meditate. And because it's like a walk-in closet. I mean, it's bigger than some of the office spaces I've had entirely and some of the places I live. So I'm very lucky. But anyway, yeah, that's my huge, it's like I finally finished the month one work of getting everything cleared and ready to go. I still have some energetic clearing to do, but I've gotten my space done, and I know that's where a lot of people get hung up because I've done a lot of clutter clearing work with people. So anyway, so I guess that's my win. I finally cleared the deck. I ordered a frame for one of my paintings that I want to put up.
I was about to ask what your homework is. We talked about putting up paintings behind you.
See, is this not gorgeous?
That is lovely.
Yeah. So, I'm just, well, remember how we talked about not getting your head involved, and we had that very nice blue thing picked out, and then I'm like, but I wear a lot of blue. What if I'm sitting in front of the blue painting and no one can see me because I'm wearing blue? And which is valid, but then I didn't get anything up. So I will.
You can always take things down.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm just going to stick it up there today. And then, if I decide I want to do the grouping behind me, I can do that. And anyway, or maybe I want them in front of me so I can see them. Again, my head is getting involved, and it's been running the show a long time, and it's not giving up easily. So
that's part of the process. I mean, I would just put things places and see how they feel, because then you have the action, and like you're kind of doing what a manifestor should do rather than just sitting in rumination.
Yeah, and that's what I tend to do. And so that the shifts are, I'm shifting more into action, and I'm at least, one of the things I've recognized is, and this has been a lifelong problem, if I don't have a firm deadline, and I'm really bad about blowing through my own deadlines because I can always think of reasons that wasn't really a good deadline. I should have this other deadline that's farther down the line. But it's like, I know what to do, but at the same time, I need to do so many things, or I feel like I need to do so many things to just get started, that I don't do anything because the number of things I have to do is or feel like I should do is overwhelming, and I don't know which one to pick first. And it's just, I can just really make myself crazy thinking about it. So I do nothing.
So that's when I want you to reach out so that you're not stuck in that spiral and not stuck in your own energy. And we can either break down, you don't need to do these things, just be uncomfortable with not doing it, or this is the thing to focus on, do that first, and then we'll figure out the next steps, rather than spiraling.
Which is, I finally said to myself, it's like, you have this group, you have this Voxer support, why are you not using it? And then the answer is frequently, I should, and I'll just take a nap now. But it seriously, it only hit me like a couple days ago. Well, duh, you could just get yourself an accountability partner. You have Kristen, for God's sake, just send a message, what do I do first? Because even with the group, which I've been talking about for a month and a half now, it's like, I feel like I don't even know how to start getting people in there without a challenge. Although I could do one, the full moon is obviously in 2 weeks. So I'm like, and then I could do one in a week to 10 days. I could do one in 2 weeks. I could do an Into the Woods challenge, and, I could whip something up and start promoting it, because honestly, all I know how to do is promote in groups, and I have been very inactive for God, months now. But that doesn't mean I can't start,
No.
you know.
So how about if we give you some deadlines today? Would that be helpful?
Yes, I'm finding a pen and something to write on.
Okay. And if y'all have thoughts about when these deadlines should be, you can put them in the chat so it's not just me being a drill.
Yeah, because at base, I feel like, you know, I need to get the group up. I need to start promoting to do that. And then I start getting into, and I need to set up an email list, and I need to have a freebie thing, and, you know.
No, you don't. Okay, so does the one painting you already have a frame already?
Yes, the blue one I showed you last week that you liked.
Okay, can you get that up by Monday? End of day Monday.
I could get it up to this afternoon.
Okay. Your deadline's Monday. If you have it before then, we will all celebrate with you.
Okay.
And I'm writing these down because we're gonna hold you to these. Could you get the group up? You don't have to have people in there, but just have the group set up and everything the way you want it by next Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Because actually I have everything put together. I don't think I've done a group description. But again, it's ready to go.
Okay. I actually almost went with Wednesday, and then I was like, no, I'll give more space. And even, like, I don't know, you could probably do this all way faster because Manifester, and once you get in the zone, you'll be there. Okay, so then the next step would be, you already have the challenge basically written, right?
I'm trying to remember if I've written it down in my notes or not. I know what I'm going to do with it, so it you know.
Could you start, if the group is up Friday, could you start Saturday promoting the group / the challenge and give yourself like a week, 2 weeks to bring people in and then run the challenge?
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at the calendar to know when astrologically or moon cycle wise would be good, but you could adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay, so promote group Saturday. And so then post later in our group, when is your challenge starting? And because I'll give you some wiggle room so that you can have good astrological
Okay.
days. My calendar's being slow. I don't feel like pulling up the astrological calendar.
Well, I have written a lot of there's a Venus retrograde starting soon.
Yeah.
But I am not even gonna get caught up in that. I think I wrote it on my calendar. I usually write those down.
I can see it finally loads. Venus retrograde, I've never actually noticed affect my business, besides that tends to be when I redo all my graphics.
Okay, the Venus retrograde starts on Wednesday the 13th. There's a Saturn retrograde starting on the 11th. So if I were doing, God, it's like, what day is today? So if I were doing next week is May 1st, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Wait, yes.
Okay, so I was going to say, ooh, astronomical Beltane, that'd be a great day to start the challenge, but that's May 4th, so that's not going to work. Yeah. You don't promote a challenge on Friday and start it on Monday.
No. I would suggest at least having a week, if not 2. You're going to do things faster than I do. I would typically go with 2 to 4. But...
Yeah. Well, the full moon is on the 7th, but actually waning moon energy is good for this, so. You're thinking.
I am. I don't know that I have a good, because it's like you could just do, were you not a manifester, I would just say just to do a lot of promotion and get the group like grounded and do the challenge on the next new moon.
Which is the 22nd of May.
Does that feel too far off?
No, actually it doesn't. Actually, my inner voices are like, yes, do the new moon, do the new moon. So it's like, oh, okay. You know. That also is Gemini sun. The new moons are hitting really close to the sun sign changes now.
Yeah, it's
Just an
interesting.
observation.
Okay. So then that gives you plenty of time to promote and get conversation going in the group. And we may give you other deadlines in between starting to promote the group and the challenge going live. But for now, it's art up by Monday, group up by next Friday, started promoting the group the next day, and have the challenge ready and promoted and people in it by the new moon.
Yeah, and if as I start to work with this, it feels like it would be better to do the challenge earlier, I could, but it would make me happy if I had time to write everything in advance and make it pretty, and pretty is good.
That also helps anchor in the energy.
Yeah, because in the past, I confess, even what I considered my best ever challenge, I was writing this stuff like the day before I was going to put it up, which in one way that's good because you can, kind of tap the group energy, but it's also when you're trying to, keep, you know what I mean? You're interacting with people in the group and half of your brain is like, and I need to write this other thing and find a picture for it. And,
I've done it both ways, and I think it works both ways. Just when it's done in advance, it's more spacious and you have time to, consider, do I need to reach out to somebody who shared something vulnerable, and you get to have a conversation with them, as opposed to like, oh, well, I don't have time because I have to write this thing.
Yeah, which is, how I frequently feel at the start of those things anyway, because you know how it is. The first couple days, you've got 30 people who are, excited and talking and wanting attention and needing attention, and you need to respond to them. But it does get to be energetically taxing. And who knows, maybe that's why people drop off the next couple days. It's not them, it's me,
I think people tend to drop off anyway, just because humans and habits. But if you have more energy and more space, that does give you the ability to hold more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I feel
giving
like
you plenty of time to space things out.
Yes, it actually feels, because it had been so long since I had the idea, I was also starting to feel like, if I don't do it now, is all the energy going to dissipate? Because I get bored with things.
Welcome to being a manifester.
Yeah. But I'm not bored with this yet, so that's good.
We'll keep doing it, and if you get bored beforehand, we'll come back to it and figure out what can we shift to still use the same structure, but to shift the content, because in my opinion, that's what manifestors do with best, is you have a set structure and then you just change it for whatever inspiration has coming in, and that way you don't have to, remake the wheel. You're just going with whatever is inspiring you at that moment.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. And the other, well, I would like, if you think it's better if I send them to you, that's fine, or if I put them in the group, but it's honestly been so long. Another thing that's held me back is it's just been so long since I promoted myself or anything. It's like, I don't even know. It's like, I don't even know what to write. It's just a void, which is not usual for me.
I would start with, why do you feel like people need this challenge right now? Like in this current space, this current energetic space, like where the collective is, why do we need this challenge? What is going to start shifting for us? What changes for us? What are we going to learn about ourselves? And even if you just do that in bullet points, then you can come back to and see, like, these are the themes that I need to talk about while bringing people to this. I think you can also start talking about, I think we mentioned it last time, or maybe on our one-to-one, but start talking about the significance of fairy tales. And, that even ties in with right now, because we're all seeing things a little differently. And for a lot of people, fairy tales are that like place of, like whimsical security. Even though they're dark and they take us to places that we may not want to think about, it helps us process that darkness in a way that feels safe. And just educating us about that, because you know way more about fairy tales than most people do. So just educate us, and then it's all you have to do. You don't have to necessarily lead people anywhere to start off with. It's just educating them and getting them ready.
That just helped me click on something too, that in fairy tales, you go into the woods and you meet the magical helper, the fairy, the witch, the, talking animal, whatever it is. And I've been obsessing about, since I do a lot of past life work or family healing work, how does that fit? It's like, well, maybe the old woman you meet in the woods is actually you from the past giving you advice, or your wise great grandmother who died before you were born. Mm-hmm. It's a fairy tale. It could be anything. It could just be a talking wolf. You don't know.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being part of your line, whether it's future you or whether it is, ancestral energy coming back to educate you. It is like a full circle in that way.
Yeah, because I think I've been trying too hard to think of all the different things that could come up, or, if I do this, then how does that fit in with this other part, instead of just doing it.
Just do it.
Oh yeah, and the 6 retrograde planets, Pam, that's very true. I'm looking at my calendar right now and it's like retrograde.
And that'll be eclipse
season
too.
It's very much an internal energy time coming up.
Which means people need, so maybe that's also something to talk about. As we're getting closer to June, we're heading into all of these retrograde planets. This is about doing the internal work. Now is the time to come into the woods.
Great.
Thanks, Pam, for piecing that together.
Yeah, because it totally is, which is kind of the opposite of things I've done in the past for summers. But usually my summer stuff is about, basically go eat a peach, get a massage, roll in the grass, take a swim,
Not this year.
Yeah, no, not so much.
This year we're going in deep. So it's time for you to grab your torch and be our guide.
Yeah, into the woods. Next level is into the cave.
Perfect. Okay, so you have your deadlines. You have some places to start playing with. And as you start writing, just post them in the group, and that way we can all give you, suggestions, feedback, questions, etc. And that way you're getting multiple people.
Yeah, I doubt that I'll need to do that forever, but that feels like it would be very helpful right now.
You're good. Just put them in. I have no problem looking at things, and I feel like it helps everyone, because then we get other ideas and we see how other people respond, so it serves all of us.
Good. Oh, it's such a relief that I don't have to do all this tomorrow.
No. This is why we have spaced out deadlines. Okay. We will require notifications when you complete something on a deadline in the group.
Okay.
That is part of the homework. Okay. Do you feel good?
Yes.
Perfect. And that feels like enough. I don't want to give you any more homework than that. So we'll call this complete for now.
Well, it is basically a month, so.
Oh, but there's going to be more in between. These are just the big milestones. We'll get you through getting the group up, and then we'll add in more deadlines.
Okay.
So we'll see how this works. And that way it's not just you creating the deadlines. Okay. Do you feel complete then?
Yes.
Okay. Then I think everybody else was here last time. Da-da-da. Kelsey had asked, she had something she wanted to add on from last time. So Kelsey, are you around? Also,
Hey,
Deb,
yeah, I'm here.
your face.
Hang on. I've got my phone plugged in, so it's like the double chin angle, so I'm going to unplug it.
Oh, no worries. I have to decide what color you are today.
Okay. And then let me know which one you choose.
Yes. You are purple.
I like purple.
We're almost blue, but it felt too heavy.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. So wins, right? Are we doing that?
You can. You don't necessarily have to, since it's I don't remember. Was it like a week ago, 2 weeks? I have no concept of time.
I don't remember either. Okay, yeah, I'll just go into my thing. I just know on the last call it was like I didn't have any clarity. I didn't know what I wanted to ask or anything, so it was just kind of like, what should I focus on next? But in between then and now, like in such a short period of time, a lot of shit has happened. Like so much is stirring and so much is coming up within me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like reach out for support and just like hopefully get a little bit more grounded and feel a little bit better. But like for sure, stuff is stirring up in my life and it's bringing up, I think I've already sort of revealed that I have a lot of like survival fears, survival damage, if that even makes sense.
Trauma.
Root chakra shit. What's that?
Like trauma is how I
Trauma,
would
for
survival
sure.
trauma. Okay.
For sure. And it's all coming up right now in like the worst ways. So I want to position this, and like there's a big part of me that holds back from saying what's going on in my life sometimes, so it doesn't seem like I'm being like, oh my god, poor me, or like look what's happening to me, when like shit's happening to everybody in the world. So I just want to come from a place where I'm explaining, just letting people know what's going on, and just for like some love and support, if you have like a free second just to kind of send me a burst of good energy, and just kind of hold me in a decent light. I feel like I'm being so very vague here. Yeah.
Is there something that feels uncomfortable with what is stirring up root chakra wise? Like beyond the obviously, those feelings, but is there something uncomfortable about expressing it?
There was, and there is sort of right now, like before, not long ago, it would have been a downright, I shouldn't express it for so many reasons. Because it is private, because it is maybe like shameful, maybe because it is like what I see as damaged pieces of me, stuff like that. But right now I feel it's almost like something's pushing me sort of to the edge where it's like, shit, you like do express it. Cause it's like social isolation is pretty isolated. And so it's like, I'm at a point where something's pushing me to like, yeah, reach out for like some support. Let some people know what's going on. Yeah, I'll explain some of the things, but I also want to say the biggest part right here is that it is stirring up so much in me, like I said, and it feels like a really big opportunity, like a revamping of energy, a big motherfucker of a clear out, rising up to release stuff, to shed, and shedding can be painful sometimes. Yeah. And also it's bringing out my resilience in a big way, big fucking way. And that's part of me is like that's a good thing, and also it's survival pattern thing, like my resilience. It's like it's sometimes I stay in that mode, which is survival mode, which is fight or flight. So yeah, it's interesting, lots to reflect on. But yeah, it's just gotten me to like it's gotten to a point where I felt really unsafe sometimes. Yeah, hang on, I'll see if I can like narrow it down into a thing, because I want to leverage this is what I want to do. I know my strength is in there, and it's like gonna bring me to a new level of me. Okay, so basically I had some car trouble not long ago, and so I thought it was the battery because it happened after it was cold, so I got it jumped and that didn't work, so I got it towed to a shop, and he said the starter needed to be replaced. And I had a feeling that this car was becoming a money pit, and I was like, okay, we'll replace the starter, which is just over $600, but I was like, don't do it if anything indicates that if we replace the starter, the car is still a goner. And he's like, he's the guy who knows what he's doing, right? He's the mechanic. He's like, no, it's the starter. Your car should be running after that. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then a few days, maybe a week, a few days ago, he called me and told me that the starter has been replaced and the engine is shot. So my car is gone. And that was my fear. So I have to pay $600 and then like with no car anyway. And I think the biggest thing that scares me about that and the survival thing is like, well, fuck, now I can't get anywhere, which is cool. Like if there's a time to have no vehicle, it's now, because we don't really need to go anywhere. But like if something happens, if an emergency happens, I can't just call a friend because social distancing, calling cab, calling Uber's a no-go, public transit, no-go. And then this is like my Achilles heel. This is like my heaviest thing. And so I'm just fucking terrified that like say she needs something at 3 a.m. and like I can't get her there. Then that fucking happened the other night. So yeah, I feel like I was decently balanced before this call. Now I'm coming on and talking about it, and I feel like the emotion coming up. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to bring like the emotion into it. I just want to give the information so that sort of like collectively, if you could send me a burst of love, that kind of helps to increase the energy. I will say, so that I'm not going into all these details that are maybe unnecessary, that I'm doing the things that I teach people to find grounding, find calm. Yeah, hang on, I need to breathe right now. So yeah, I'm doing all those things, but they're momentary, like, and then there's a part of me, and it's the survival piece that's like, okay, calm yourself, all is well, ground yourself, it's okay, in the moments that are okay and peaceful, because there are those too, and I'm like really hanging on to those and really have a lot of gratitude for those. But fuck. But yeah, there's also this other part of me that's like, well, I need to be in fight or flight because actual danger is about, like if my dog's unwell, I want to be in fight or flight. I want to be able to act. If a family member's unwell, which is also the case. A couple of them actually. But yeah, fuck. And I hate the fact that I'm feeling like choked by the emotion right now. It's like, I think I'm annoyed by it. It's like, fuck. And it's like choking my throat chakra too. So this is weird. It's like something in me doesn't, and you can see like my skin's, holy crap. This is like stress. But anyway, but yeah, I don't want to come here and like spill negative energy. It's not that. I'm not like, oh, woe is me, fuck my life, blah blah blah. That's not it.
Us.
Yeah.
So let's just ixnay that right now, because there is no, we are protected in the group. Like Shelby and I do enough where you don't need to try to hold the space of, I need to protect you guys from my energy. What you need to do is be able to ask for support, and there is no judgment. You don't have to worry about your energy. That's what this space is for.
Thank you.
Okay, so from that place, is there anything else that we need to know to help you leverage?
I think the core of it is just to let you know that like my deepest stuff is coming up right now. Like, trauma for sure. Like, and all the little tendrils attached to other times, trauma has hit and really landed and like really unfolded. Yeah. And I think part of this choking throat chakra thing and like this stupid, like this heat in my skin, which is crazy. I can't even believe that. Like that just showed up. Anyway, it's like there's resistance in me. It's like almost like my energy is like closing up. Like don't share this, don't invite this, don't stir up this energy. Because I'm a person who's supposed to be helping other people through this. And I even know like intellectually, like wounded healer is a thing. And a lot of what I've been through.
Pause. This isn't even about being a wounded healer. This is about being fucking human. Like this has no basis on whether you can help other people or not, because we're all going through our own shit, because we have to as a human being. If we weren't, we wouldn't be here. We would be an ascended master.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no shame in experiencing things, whether it is an emotion or whether it's something happening in your life that you don't like. Like there's just no shame, because we all go there at some point, regardless of how we're helping people or how successful we are, or any of that. Mm-hmm. So it's just about how can you be supported in the way that you support others, and what do you need to say to the people who need support right now, and you may be in a place to speak to them better because you relate to them in a way that some people may not be able to.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but we're not going to go down those negative spirals.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I really feel the truth in that. And a big part of me intellectually knows that, but there's something else in there energetically that's like, I don't know if it's like my inner child or what, but yeah, it's interesting the resistance that's coming up. And like, it's like my throat is actually closing. It's messed. Like,
so I've had this before with a client, and I'll send you some stuff later, because we had to do some like digging into Chinese medicine, because it's very much related to like the emotions of fear and grief. Mm-hmm. And hers would be the same thing when she talked about particular things, like her entire neck would just turn like beet red. And
crazy.
It was something she didn't want to happen when she was on a call with a client or anything, and she was tired of wearing scarves. So I can share that information with you later.
That's just blowing my mind. Anyway, yeah. Oh, yes, I really appreciate you reflecting that to me, and it's already helpful to know, and so supportive to know that like there's a place for this stuff. Like I'm not just like this wrecked little creature. But yeah, even before I came on this, I was like feeling relatively stable. I was like, it's okay, I'll be able to talk about it. But it's like as soon as I am, and as soon as like there's ears and eyes on me, it's like but this is important. This is like practice for me. This is also new, very new, because the toxic mentorship experience that I did have, if I shared anything about like any kind of struggle that was going on in my life, even if I shared it in an empowered way, she would be like, don't feel sorry for yourself, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I never feel sorry for myself. I actually don't. I've been through that in like early adulthood or childhood, and like I don't play in that energy. I can always, like, my inner strength comes out in times like this, and that's partly my survival mode and stuff like that. But yeah, my tenacity comes up in a big way. So it's never that I'm feeling sorry for myself, but also a fear that other people might see it as that if I share it. So this is a whole new experience and a whole new space where this stuff is welcome, and that I am not affecting your energy negatively if I am sharing what's going on with me, which is, it's a whole new thing.
I'm trying to be very careful what I say because I think I know who that toxic mentor is, and I don't want to speculate. But so all of that is spiritual bypassing, and we aren't here just to look at the superficial layers or to tell you to go do some fucking affirmations and everything will be fine in your life, and all of a sudden you'll have everything that you want, because that shit doesn't work. Well, it might for Kathy because she's a manifester, but for the rest of us, it doesn't work. Like, we have to explore all of it. And it's like the cliche of you don't know the light until you know the darkness. What I was taught when I was learning energy work was you have to know how to kill in order to know how to heal. And it wasn't about like literally being able to use energy to kill, but it was you have to understand the dark aspects of what you're doing before you do anything positive, or else you're going to have negative repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
to me, this is similar of, we can't just focus on the light and hope that that's enough to get you what you want. And like, energetically, sure, we probably could, and it could get quick wins, but that's not going to build anything sustainable, and it's going to have like crashes. And it's why you see people who, look like they have everything that they want, and then all of a sudden 6 months later they have nothing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So let me see what Shelby was saying. It's probably very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think touching back into Shelby's meditations, especially the one on security, might be good.
Well,
I don't know if that's the one you were mentioning or thinking, Shelby. I think also like maybe doing general quantum clearing like every other day,
mm-hmm.
and just tackling one little piece day by day and seeing what comes up. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shelby was going to say something, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the meditation from last week, the Reiki work we did around the toxic mentorship, because it's like there's feeling unsafe because of that, or in relation, like it seems like there's some sort of connection there. So and that's okay. Like, there's always, I would say, some connection there, but it's clearing out that energy and whatnot. And so that, not that you have to do it, but I was wondering if that would feel supportive for you to go through that again.
It's one of the tendrils for sure. There's a lot of different pieces connected to different traumas. The mentorship thing is one. I will do that soon. I don't know if I'll do that right away, just because that brought up so much at the moment, but I will definitely, because meditations and the Reiki stuff has been helping me a lot right now. Mm-hmm. It's been helping me to like recenter. I don't know if I want to say this.
You do. Well, wait, do you want to say it?
Okay, yeah, no, I will. But like, this is so crazy. A while ago, like maybe a week ago, it's not even that crazy. But yeah, I actually contacted a crisis line. Like, but this is not like a suicide thing. So I just want to say that, like, straight up, it's absolutely not. It was because I was panicking. I was like, oh fuck, I'm about to have a panic attack, which surprised me because I thought I was doing really well. This is before my car shit. But yeah, it's just crazy how these things, and I feel so much in the collective, and so I keep trying to clear my energy and like let go of what's not mine too, but like so much is coming up. I'm not a person to really call the crisis. I didn't call it, I actually texted it. But yeah, but that even helped. They came up with some, because it was late at night and I didn't want to call anybody, and like and I also didn't want to like end up going to the hospital, because I know panic attacks can actually feel like a heart attack when it gets that bad. So I didn't want to do that either, but I'm like, holy shit, like I'm really being pressed to my edges lately. yeah, that was before my car. They are there for a reason. Shelby says they're there for a reason. There's no judgment in utilizing the supports that are available to you. Oh my God, absolutely. And I'm starting to realize that too, because I'm actually really glad I contacted them. I felt better. I went from like a spiral to like, contacting another human, getting air into my lungs. Like, I feel better. And then I was okay the next day. But it's just so interesting. I'm being shown so much right now, which is always rich. Enriching, even though it is painful as hell sometimes and scary as hell. Like, I'm really coming undone over here in terms of things coming up for me, especially my dog. That's like the biggest one, the biggest one, because she's my soul fam. But yeah, I wanted to say that times like this, which is a good thing and also not a good thing, because I also believe that I could get addicted to this stage of life, or this state, is like when it really calls the strength out of me and when I really motherfucking rise up. Because it's like do or die, right? And it's kind of been like do or die all my life, with a lot of stuff. So I believe my strength is being called forward in a big way. I'm being really invited here, and the ability to revamp a lot of energy in my life and like kind of reach up to my next level. Because now it's like, oh fuck, I need a new vehicle. Okay, cool. We're clearing out in a big way. I'm going to need, obviously I need like more money for survival because I lost my 2 part-time jobs. I'm going to need, but then at the same time, like all this cool, beautiful energy is happening around my business, because it really is. I'm so grateful for that. And I feel that at first I was like, oh no, like this negative, not even negative, I don't want to use that, but like this spiral, this coming undoneness, it's like, oh no, this is going to make me stagnant and, you know, ineffective. But there's something about it that is not making me ineffective at all. It's making me very alive and very, actually quite engaged. And there is a lot of energy circulating in my business, which is really cool. And I still feel when I can get myself centered and grounded, I still get inspiration, which is keeping me alive right now. Like it's really helping me. But and I'm even like shaking a little bit right now because this is a lot for me. But yeah, I wanted to share just like it's chaos in my life for sure. And I don't want to I don't think of myself as a chaotic person at all. I'm not like a drama person, chaotic person, but chaos is for sure happening in my life. And I think it's helpful for me to acknowledge it and share it with people who get it. And who are also holding space for the highest outcome for me and my impact on the world. So yeah, like just wow, just holy shit. Lots right now. And there are moments I go through that are extremely gripping and like fucking terrifying, where I feel like I'm just gonna fall apart. And then moments where it's like, I got this, like it's okay. And it's training me and retraining me to help to heal and clear myself and use all these tools and help other people with these tools. And but there's only so much you can do on your own. And there's just that part of me that's like, you need to reach out to community, reach out to people who care and who you can trust. And because there's that too, right? We're all connected. And I also was really, really needing that piece. Social isolation is like my jam. I was joking that I'm built for this, right? It's like quarantine was like my regular lifestyle before, haha, right? Sort of. And so I was like, I got this. This is no problem. I kind of like it. But a lot was coming up in me where it's like, oh no, I am so isolated. I'm so restricted. And fears that I didn't think that this was going to bring up in me absolutely did. Also, as a child, this was my greatest fear in the biggest way. Like any kind of virus, especially the thought of like it affecting my lungs, and the thought of it restricting my breathing, I would like, because this was a child who was in a lot of trauma, I would like lay awake at night, just terrified of shit like that happening. Terrified. And I would be like praying that it never happened. And like, So it was crazy when it actually happened, and I was so like stable and grounded. I'm like, wow, I've come so far. But like as these other threads are being pulled at, it's pulling at this one now too. I'm like, holy shit, damn. Like that whole spiral thing where things are coming back around, hopefully to be released and cleared. But like that's even a fear now too. I'm like, damn it, because I'm not wanting to be one of those paranoid people. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to share these details. I don't want to go on a ramble. So
I have something for that later, but I'll vox that to you because that's a whole side conversation. Pam, did you have something before I saw you?
I just wanted to, I guess, provide something to reflect on. A lot of people, it's like we're holding these paradoxes right now. So like in your past, one of your trauma responses was to rise up and be resilient, right? But now you're in a different place and you're rising up, but in different energy, but you still have that trauma response. Like it's still, right? So yeah, it is like coming to either like be able to like look back and say that this is how far I've come, and yeah, and release, right? So so yeah, a lot of us there's these paradoxes just keep coming up, how we're holding both energies and it's stretching, and that can cause body reactions too, right?
totally. Yeah, thank you for those reminders and reflections.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I feel like part of your homework is going to be very uncomfortable, and I am going to acknowledge that. But when I post the recording, which I will try to do today, and I'll post the last one too, but to go back and listen to what you're saying, because there are so many little pieces of what you're saying that is the leverage that you're looking for. And if you're coming at it from the, listening to hear where other people are and what to say, some of those things were posts of their own. It's like, you said there's only so much you can do on your own. Well, hello, that's a post reminding people that they aren't supposed to be trying to heal themselves right now, because we're in this weird space where, I don't remember who I was telling last week, but I was telling somebody that, we're all more tired right now. Like we all are sleeping more because like the collective is just so exhausting. And, a lot of us are probably taking on that energy to process it, which is likely something else you can speak on, because people aren't aware that they're doing that yet. They're just there and not realizing it's a sponge. But you've said so much that is exactly what people need to hear right now. And I think there's a bit of the, it's not all sunshine and, beach trips to Bali for all of us. And that's okay. That doesn't make you any less of, a healer, or doesn't make you any less of a person. And leading people through that journey, and also leading people through the story of how, even somebody who is a mentor, even somebody who is a healer goes through this, and you're using the same tools that you use on them for yourself because of how well they work. That's a powerful story.
Yeah, those are some really potent pieces for sure. I like that. And that helps so much to have that reflected back to me. And also huge emphasis, because my soul has been screaming for many a year about this, and I've started to like lay out this message. And I guess I didn't realize I wasn't doing it nearly enough, but like the darkness, huge emphasis. I'm not a all light person. I'm not a light and love type of person. I am there is richness in the darkness. Darkness has dimension like you wouldn't believe. There's so much to come of that, and to walk through that is so valuable, and to honor those pieces of ourselves is incredibly valuable too. I always say that I got good at finding the light, but that's because I walked in the darkness. So a lot of people have accused me of being like happy-go-lucky, everything's always working out for me, blah, 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 because I have a good attitude. I don't cry bloody murder every time something happens to me. But yeah, and so it's just been like one of the most powerful pieces of my message that I've been trying to get out, but it's just been kind of like trickling out, is that the darkness is very, very important as well. And I know it well. I've been in many dark places. Mm-hmm.
As we said, you have to know the dark to be able to lead people through it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Can I lead people through it whilst I'm in it? That's been a little bit of a worry lately.
You're further along, so you can't lead them completely through it because you're not completely through it, but you can lead them to the next stepping stone.
That's true. And it depends on where they are in their darkness as well. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
I don't know if you can see the comments because you're on your phone. Kathy said she felt like this whole experience is a refining fire, bringing up things that need to be burned away and purified in all of us.
Yes. It's amazing the way that you said that. I was kind of thinking about that before I got on this call. Refining fire.
And Shelby said something that she learned in childhood and adolescent trauma is you can't begin healing trauma until you're out of the unsafe situation. So it's okay to focus on surviving first.
That's really helpful. Really helpful. Mm-hmm.
You can't help anybody unless you've helped yourself.
Yeah, that's been such a big lesson in my life too. I've been like scraping from an empty cup and like giving. Yeah, it's been a messy thing, but I don't even want to dive into that right now because I've come so far there. But yeah, totally big lesson. Lori says social presenting theater might give me a new language for inner wisdom talk. To let the pain share its needs. Interesting. I would like to learn more about that because I don't know much about that at all. I'm screenshotting all these just so I've got them for after.
Also, something I wanted to say is I don't know how busy she is right now, but I would message Safra just to hear. She went through a thing, I don't remember how many months ago, but where there was like all of her greatest fears kind of coming to stare her in the face. And I think just hearing her story can at least give you a different perspective, or, may help something click from the way that she describes it. No guarantees there, but she has been. And to me, it seemed like there's these patterns that are coming up, and there's the pattern of resilience, and it's are things happening to push you to get out of where you are, to like stick you. There's also the pattern of like all of your biggest fears kind of coming to a head for some purpose, likely to make you go into the resilient survival mode so that you can move. But if we can unravel one of those patterns a little bit, then we start shifting things faster.
Totally. Which will be so helpful. It's like a winter stage in my life right now, going through the seasons. And like yesterday, I was just trying to remind myself, it's like, well, spring will come. Like these things don't last forever. I know that. Yeah. Okay. And then do you have any ideas offhand how maybe I can, you've already given me quite a lot, which is wonderful, but just anything else that can help me leverage the energy in my business with the state that I'm in right now?
I have an idea, but I want to sit on it, and I'll message you either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I circled it in red so I can remember my notes.
Sounds great. That'll stand out.
Okay. Yeah, I want to sit with just the energy when everyone's not around and see if that feels like the most grounded thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I will Vox you.
Thank you. So yeah, I just want to say that it's been really helpful to be able to express this. As difficult as that was, holy cow. And as much as I wasn't able to get everything out, and as much as like my physical body was trying to like choke me, but yeah, that was very helpful just to kind of like let people know, hey, I'm not completely okay. I'm actually admitting that I'm afraid, and also finding some perspective in it, and receiving the support back and those reflections, and just like your listening eyes and ears in a non-judgmental and really warmly held space has been really helpful. And thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Okay. Lori, Pam, or Deborah, do any of you have anything quick that you would like group support with?
I have something quick, and I'll try to be super quick because I do have a call at 2. But so first, thank you for letting this be a co-working time for me. I'm getting lots of things out, so thank you for that. But I just have a general question on sort of like I saw a model of that when you were working or like offering out deadlines, but like since I've never planned out an offering, like what are like maybe just 2 things I can do first so that way I'm not spiraling and trying to do 50?
Start with what is the smallest level of transformation that you want them to achieve, because we don't want to start trying to make them do big things. We want little bites. Start with that, and then what is the simplest way that you can lead somebody there?
Okay.
And then another question to ask would be, how do you want them to feel when it is complete?
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I had 80 things in my mind, so 3 is great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and then you can share here in the group, and we can.
Yeah, right now I'm just finishing up. I had tidbits about the offering and the 80 places, so I'm just getting it in one, and I realized that there's a lot of breadcrumbing that's happening of things that I wrote in like January just as thoughts are now actually the framework of it. So yeah.
There's a lot of that happening right now. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and it's also was like, oh, then because I was in a place of spiraling of like, well, how do I know if it's just my thoughts and not really like what people need, and just thinking too much about it, and then realize, well, oh, if this is a thread that I've been sitting with for a long time without knowing, then that is the more like guide connection part of that.
Yeah, and you can go back to, I can't remember which day because numbers, but one of the days in the quantum selling experience had the get connected with your clients to see what they need. So maybe go through the questions, feel out the energy, and then double check it with that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Pam, Deborah, either of you?
I have a win. I did that interview last week and I survived. Nothing horrible happened.
How was it? I have the wrong internet. Yes.
What she was going to ask.
There we go. I was just asking how was it?
Sorry?
I was just asking, how did it go besides surviving?
Yeah, no, it was good.
Right.
So it was
my
fun.
router switches routers now without giving me without me in charge of it. So it'll just randomly be like this, because there's 3 in the house. So it's like this one is the highest and switch. And I'm like, what's going on? I have to figure out how to turn that off. I don't know how. Okay, so you survived and
yeah, so it's something I could do again and be okay. So I might look for more opportunities like that. Okay. Shifts. I guess with just trying to get into some kind of a rhythm with having the kid home and trying to, like, the school's finally sending all the stuff. So trying to work and keep her on task, because she'd rather be doing other stuff, like watching TV. Where was I going with this? Trying to find that, I guess, finding a rhythm, feeling like we're finally maybe getting there, is what I've been saying since the beginning of the year, is filling my cup first and taking that super seriously. And even in how I'm doing business, it's like, what am I going to do today that's going to bring me joy? What feels nourishing versus the have tos, the shoulds, well, this is what everybody else is doing. So that, and then support wise, I can't think of anything. Because like I'm actually doing the workshop on Sunday, but I feel like I have everything I need for that. And then otherwise, like I posted the product flow, I guess, for the Your Magical Year readings, and I think I'm in a good place with that, other than what to call it. And then yeah, I haven't moved on to the next what's after that because I need to finish this first.
Okay. I have no wonderful naming ideas at the moment, but if something hits me, I will let you know. If somebody else has one,
Yeah,
we can
I'm like
throw it at her.
it'll show up. I'm sure it did the first time, so I'm sure it'll show up. But
They typically
yeah,
do.
so
Okay.
that's it for me.
Okay. Deborah, do you have anything?
Yes, I mean, it's stuff I shared in Facebook, but when signing on a new client, yay. And I think this is probably Venus retrograde shadow, because it was probably the first client I'd ever invoiced, and it wasn't in the content mill hell that I was in before. So it was nice for him to come back, and that we're both in the mental health biz now is strange. I mean, not necessarily for me, but for him, because we were working on like supply chain stuff, like completely different. So it just felt really aligned, which is like what spellbinding sales is all about. And I also started my Instagram for my biz, yay, but that's also where I feel like I need support, because I think I just feel pressure. Instagram is just a whole different space of writing that I'm not. I have one that's just for me, but I think I feel this pressure that every post needs to matter and every piece of copy needs to matter. And I don't really feel like I have emotional space for that right now. And of course, that's just a quote unquote story, but it's more that I want to give it the attention that it needs, and I don't want to just throw crap on there. So shifts, I just think it's I think I've been trying to make sure that I'm not shooting on myself, even though I was just talking about shooting on myself with the IG, but like the energy right now is collectively chaotic. It's chaotic here, which I've been really annoyed about. I think it's a double Capricorn thing. Like there's just so much that's not in my control that I even have expertise to make it be in my control. And I think I reached out to Krista about this, and I'm not gonna worry with that. But it is something where I'm just like, well, I see my business as a vehicle for better things happening in my life, and so I think right now I feel the shift of, well, you need to embrace where you're at. You need to kind of embrace the chaos in a healthy way, not like more in a place of acceptance instead of resisting it. It's like, well, a lot of us are dealing with things that are out of our control. Household situations are unique. It's not just you. We're all dealing with that. You're probably picking up on some of that. I think in my head, I'm like, well, I have a plan. I'm going to execute it. I don't really care what's in my way, because that's how I've dealt with things before, but it's exhausting. This month has been exhausting. So I've been thinking about like, how do I create space for this chaos while still doing this work, while still working for my business, while still taking care of myself. So beyond resisting, not resisting, I'm not sure how to do that. I guess that's also a place of support. But yeah, at least I'm trying to just give myself more grace and not be like, plow through these obstacles, which I'm really good at, but I just don't feel like this is the time or space, and I don't have the time, space, or energy to do that. So yeah, I mean, I really would like to, at least with the Instagram stuff, post weekly, but I think in my head, I'm just like, I kind of got behind with all the mess that's going on here, and I'm trying to like get caught up, but then it's just like my emotions are just like, I'm fucking pissed about everything, which I'm like, okay, you have every right to feel that way, but eventually it's like, well, there's still stuff that needs to get done. I still have deadlines for clients. How do I embrace all of that while honoring that? So like this morning I was looking at Shelby's video about creating an ideal schedule, because I feel like I need to just start regimenting time, and just like intuitively like, okay, I feel like doing this, I'll just do this. Now I just feel like I need to start putting slots into things, or just see what that feels like, which I think makes me feel a little restricted, but I think I need those sort of boundaries. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. So first, plans are not supposed to be created in stone. They're
Yes, I saw your post. I'll read it again.
And I mean, like, it's a general thing, and I understand it because I come from a marketing background where you're supposed to create the plan and follow it perfectly. But there's weird like reverb. Is that on my side or is that everywhere?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, then it's just my side, which is suspicious. But okay. They're there as a tool for you to know where you want to go. Your energy may not be in the same place, and that's okay, but you can still use that as the guideline for, I wanted to get here, what pieces of this would feel good still, and and see what, Lori, and see what you need out of that, or what needs to change. For me, it's, even if something's an I typically like to question, like, can I shift it into an like, if I change the structure, would this feel better? For me right now, I am doing like a weird quasi-schedule thing where it's just like, I pick 3 to 5 things a day that I'm going to get done no matter what. And I block out random times on the calendar for those. And then I have like my long Trello list of the week, and not everything gets done, and then I can just drag it down to the next day. But the big things are getting done, and I can also as I look at the Trello list of like, no, that thing just isn't going to happen today because I don't give a fuck. And cool, we can move it to another day. But to allow yourself to decide in the moment if something is aligned for you, rather than continuing with it because you had said you were going to. So that would be the starting place. And you could play with like just throwing it in Google Calendar or Trello or both. Not everyone needs to be quite as type A as me, but
I've never even used Trello, so I'll just try my calendar.
Okay. Trello is my life.
Okay.
It is. Yeah. My entire business is there. On Instagram, I think instead of feeling like the bunch of pressure around it right now, it can be you just introducing us to you and some of your beliefs. So learning more about you and what you do, but also the foundation of why mental health is so important, and why is this, a pillar for how you work with people. Why is this so important for everybody right now? What are things that we need to know about mental health right now? How can we tap, into a better understanding with ourselves right now, and just kind of like exploring and sharing those themes, especially by like what you're seeing, and it might be based off of like what you're experiencing with things being chaotic. How do we find center? Who do we need to rely on? what is the importance of that?
I was actually going to do, there was this graphic of this little fox with, and I put it in one of my blog posts of what's in your control, what isn't in your control, and like I had circled in red like the actions of others. I was just going to riff on that because I'm just like, that is my pain point right now. Is that this is not under my control. How do I deal with that? So I will definitely write about that. What?
It's a pain point for a lot of us right now.
Yeah.
Shelby has gotten my, please don't let this baby be a manifester because I can't live with two in my house. And it's just like, we're all surrounded by people all the time right now, and we have to adjust. And there's pluses in it, but there's also the like relearning how to do things or relearning how we see things. And we all need coping mechanisms to help with that. So what do we do when people aren't in our control? Teach us.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Don't murder them. Don't do that.
That's a good starting point.
Seriously, don't catch a case. Don't involve the police. Yeah. I mean, what we had talked about was going to be kind of a hop and a leap before talking about me anyway, and I think I was just so concerned about that because I was like, I know that's just going to take time that right now I just don't have, but I think I do have time for more bite-sized pieces of me that doesn't involve like research and just time. So I'm gonna look into that. I don't know if I'm gonna work on that today or tomorrow because it'd be nice to at least get some sort of rhythm of postings, so it's not like just one post right now. I think that's part of the pressure. Like, that looks so lonely, you need friends. So I'm just gonna experiment and see what I can get done.
You know yourself. You don't need to research. Just tell us why you care about mental health and why it's important.
Right. Yes, SS is all about relearning. That's right. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's, I mean, things are, I mean, because I just started this, was it 2 months ago? I mean, I was not, I don't know what I was expecting. I was just open. So like, it was just really cool to see stuff that I've done in this group, like manifest into things. So like that blog post that I'd written about COVID, at least one of them, I mean, that's one of the blog posts that my former client, now new client again, started reading and was so impressed by, and so I was just like, okay, like people are responding to my content, not just in a, hey, I'm being helpful, but hey, I want to work with you again. So so I'm glad that things are chugging along and I'm in a little bit more of a stable place. So yeah.
And that's really just about you listening to your responses and writing on that versus what you think you should be speaking on.
Right.
So
doing the generator thing, not like, I'm just gonna make it happen. This is what I think here. So yeah.
bye, Lori. Yeah, so your homework is to continue being a generator.
Okay.
And do you want a deadline too?
Sure.
Okay, what is today? Today is Thursday. Can you have a post about yourself by Monday on Instagram?
Oh yeah. Yes, okay. Definitely.
And you were saying you wanted to do one. I don't want to have you do one a week. Can you do 2 posts next week? Yes,
I can.
So
there was something else that I thought of that's still related to the how do you deal with the stuff. It's not necessarily, I'm sharing other people's content, which I'm fine with, but just putting my spin on it for now. But yeah, I think I could do 2 posts next week.
Okay. So first deadline Monday, second deadline Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
I love deadlines. Thank you.
We're welcome. I like giving deadlines.
Hey, perfect match.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay. I think everyone has gone then. Everyone is complete. I want updates on all the things. Go take time for yourself after this. Kelsey, if you can, I want you to take a bath or a shower. Okay, cool. And everybody go Animal Cross. I can't, because then Soren will see it and because he calls the museum. So there's a museum in the game, and you go talk to an owl. And anytime he sees the game up, he goes, "Can we go to the owl house?" And then he just wanders around looking at fish and butterflies. What are you doing, child? What are you doing? But randomly in the day, he's like, Mommykins, can we go to the owl house? Okay. But I go eat, depending on your time zone, or eat anyway. Eat, ground, take a few minutes to yourself, give us updates in the group. Okay.